Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of my lecture. On today's episode, we'll be talking about facts necessary to explain or introduce relevant facts, that is Section 7 of the Evidence Act. In my last class, we talked about certain very important provisions. Section 6, subsection 1, which I call the torchlight provision, about motive and preparation. Section 6, subsection 2, which talks about previous or subsequent acts to a court's proceeding. Section 6, subsection 3 and 4, we talked about statement and conduct. In today's class, we'll be talking about facts necessary to explain or introduce relevant facts. Section 7 states that facts A. necessary to explain or introduce a fact in issue or relevant fact. B. which supports or rebuts an inference suggested by a fact in issue or relevant fact. C. which establish the identity of anything or person whose identity is relevant. D. which fix the time, place at which any fact in issue or relevant fact happened. E. which show the relation of parties by which any such fact was transacted and relevant insofar as they are necessary for that purpose. The phrase "insofar as they are necessary for that purpose" serves to cut down the rather nebulous provision of Section 7 of the Evidence Act, which in any case are meant to render admissible subordinate facts that serve to do three things. Number 1, introduce. Number 2, back up. And number 3, explanations to relevant facts. Thus, for such other facts to be admissible, they must be necessary for the purpose they are introduced to serve. Now, if you have partaken in a mock trial before, I think you would understand the relevance of Section 7. But if you have not, it's all fine and good. I would give you a slight introduction to a mock trial class. Now, when you are about to go into court, mock trial, so to say, one of the things that you have to do is ready your witness. After you've explained to your witness what they are supposed to stay on the stand, you first have to ask your witness certain questions. So we have a murder case. Miriam Sanders' case, for example, is the fact of a case that has been given to us. And the IPO of the case, I'm the prosecuting attorney, and I am admitting the IPO of the case to the stand. And while I admitted the IPO of the case, the first question I told the IPO, "Sir, can you kindly introduce yourself to this honorable court?" And the IPO said, "I am IPO Galadima Muhammad." I just made that up. There is nothing like Galadima Muhammad as far as I'm concerned. So, Galadima Muhammad, can you please tell us what department you are attached to in the police force? And the other party objects and say, "My lord, I do not see the relevance of this question." And I take the other party to Section 7. And I tell the other party, if you had gone to the university when you were supposed to, you would know that there is something called Section 7C, which says facts which establish the identity of anything or person whose identity is relevant. Here, we are talking about an IPO in a murder case. How is the identity of the person not relevant? So the next question I'm going to ask is, how do you come in contact with this case? And then the IPO is going to tell me how he received the distress call and all that. Then I will ask him, on what day did you receive the distress call? And then there's likely to be another objection because the other party did not go to school when he was supposed to go to school. And then I take the other party to Section 7, subsection D. I tell the other party which fix the time or place at which any fact in issue is relevant. My lord, please tell this party to go to school. Do you understand? So in this case, I'm trying to let you understand that when you are bringing a person to the stand, there are certain questions that are supposed to be known as introductory questions. Those introductory questions cannot be objected to except they are not in any way tied to the fact here. So for example, do you have a wife? My lord, it be like say this one or smoke something. Because I am asking the IPO in my introductory part of the question whether the IPO has a wife, and we are talking about the mother of another person. How is that even relevant to what we are saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? So I want you to understand that section 7 is the introductory part. It serves 3 purposes. Introductory, backup. Backup means that there are certain informations that section 7 will allow that would help us to explain certain things. For example, when we look at section 7b, it says facts which support or rebut an inference suggested by a fact in issue. So you see, when you're talking about backup, fact that supports the fact that we are coming here, there is a death certificate, it means that someone has died. We can infer that someone has died. Yeah, the fact that this is a murder case, we can infer that someone has died. So the fact that an IPO is there telling us about his job and all that gives us facts that can back up that someone has died. Although the IPO is still the one that is supposed to tender our death certificate to the court, but the IPO cannot just come to the stand and say, my lord, so I want to tender certificate. Who are you? That's first question. I am IPO Galadima. Where do you work? I work as the IPO or something in this police station. Where were you at this time when the thing happened? Oh, at 8 something, I was at this, I was at that. What did you do? I mobilized my boys to go to the crime. Do you see how there has to be a sequence? You just don't come to the stand and then you say, my lord, I want to tender this, and that's it. No, my lord is going to throw you out of the box. You have to come, introduce, that's as the lawyer, you have to introduce the witness that you are bringing before you can begin to tender evidence. And those introductory parts then fall under section 7. And it tells you that thus, for such other facts to be admissible, they must be necessary for the purpose which they have been introduced. I am bringing an IPO because someone has died, and the IPO is coming here to explain certain things. He's telling us where he works because someone has died. Because if not for that, imagine if he's telling us that he's a Yoruba man. You cannot be telling me that he's telling us that he's a Yoruba man because someone has died. That is an irrelevant fact. Or is an Igbo man, or is an Hausa man. That's not relevant to what we are talking about here. But he's telling us where he works. Because yes, as a policeman, you have to tell us where you are, how many years you've worked, so we can tell your qualification to handle this matter. Someone has died. Do you understand that? Yes, with that we move to our next provision, which is section 8. I hope that you understood this class. I would actually advise you to, partake in mock trials if it's not too late. Partake in mock trials so that you can understand all these little things here and there and all that. So I will see you in my next class where I'll be discussing section 8. See you in next class.